Keep Right with Ralph K. Ginorio. Natural Humanity versus Utopia. Life is uncertain. Eat dessert first. This is wisdom. None of us know what the next moment may bring. It might be more of the same, it might not. Everything can be overturned in one terrifying moment of change. Bad news, illness, famine, war, and death can alter every single truth we personally count on to keep us anchored. On the other hand, so can love, marriage, birth, graduation, discovery, and achievement. Each moment of life is precious. Life is not our possession. We neither give birth to ourselves nor do we get to choose the circumstances wherein we live our lives. Instead, we live in an existence created by another, born into a time and place that is not of our choosing. No matter how powerful we may become in a worldly sense, our minds are finite and our bodies remain mortal. Only in a very limited sense are we the authors of our fate. Yes, the choices that we make do matter. They shape our destinies as well as the lives of others around us. But these decisions all occur within the broader social, linguistic, and cultural circumstances into which we were born. Modern civilization in general, and the left specifically, both try to obscure this, our natural condition. Futurists and utopians tantalize us with the unrealized possibilities of contemporary psychology, biological and cybernetic technology, and unprecedented government power. They imply that if only we were bold enough to fully utilize these tools, we would overwrite our own human natures, recreating ourselves as a better species of person. Similarly, we could redesign our society to maximize pleasure and minimize both guilt and shame. We could even re engineer the very climate of planet Earth itself, creating for us a new Garden of Eden, an earthly paradise. None of this is true. These agents of change lack any caution about their own limitations, assuming that any obstacle in their path can and should be overcome by any means. Their atrophied humility before the majesty and complexity of creation separates these workers for a better world from both common sense and objective reality. They have very little understanding of and concern for what constitutes a normal human life. In their determination to live within their own abstractions, they lack compassion for people who are not aligned with their ideals. The most determined among this sect of social engineers also lack any empathy for their victims. A vicious pragmatism insists that revolutions are not made with rosewater and virtue without terror is useless. They clearly understand that violent compulsion will inevitably be needed to drag a reluctant humanity into a better future. For all to be saved, they know that some must be sacrificed, and some of them are not only willing to do this, they're eager to. Most importantly, such advocates of revising human nature utterly refuse to be at all self critical. They will not scrutinize the actual consequences of previous movements like their own. In pursuit of making their good intentions reality, they deem any excuse to be justified. Here are just a few of the consequences of a heedless and reckless utopianism. Between 1917 and 2017, well over 100 million civilians worldwide were murdered in peacetime by their own revolutionary governments. Fascists, nationalists, national socialists, and communist socialists conducted genocides from World War I Armenia to 1930 Ukraine to 1990's Rwanda against the Jews of 1940s Europe and the civil population of 1970s Cambodia, as well as against the minorities of China's Xinjiang and Tibet regions. In pursuit of equal rights for women, many females have been taught that the morals of their grandparents don't matter. This has led to premarital sex, which leads to unplanned and unwanted pregnancies. Our modern insistence on rights for the woman and on convenience at any cost has led to abortion on demand. In the United States alone, since 1973's Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision, the number of aborted children eclipses those killed by the aforementioned revolutionary governments. Militant feminists have transformed the maternal instinct of many women to be the protectors of children. Instead, feminist confusion has made some women a greater danger to their children than anything else, something which may later in life cause great regret. To eliminate discrimination, not only has homosexuality been normalized, but the pernicious anti-philosophy really, of transgenderism has caused such a widespread mutilation of children and teens that it eclipses anything once done to eunuchs or the castrati. It has also put all female athletes at risk, as well as all females who inhabit public places, such as restrooms. Related to all of this is a feminist cultural totalitarianism intended to warp all storytelling to a new dynamic that goes against the natural instincts of both young men and young women. In order to eliminate what they call the patriarchy, which is in itself really just a natural state of affairs between the sexes, young men have been systematically punished for initiating contact with women. At the same time, the dress and cultural norms of behavior for young women has been simultaneously hypersexualized. Girls and women have been shamed by feminists as being traitors to their sex if they have traditional ambitions and characteristics. This victimization of young men and young women by ideological activists has thwarted many potential new marriages and is lowering birth rates. Finally, traditional Judeo-Christian religion has been maligned as being a tyrannical and false superstition. In its place, new modes of thought and conduct have arisen, shattering the peace of our communities and the hopes of young women and men. Suicides, mental illness, and clinical depression have all thrived in the absence of what had once been our Western society's broad Judeo-Christian consensus. Without faith, there can be no hope. In these ways and many more, abstract utopians have delivered vast swaths of humanity into a living hell on earth with their false promises of heaven. With the recent liberal victory in Canada and the growing boldness of this flavor of European elitist, there will be many more opportunities to see these tragic ideologies at work as they smother the freedoms of countless human beings in Europe, North America, and beyond. We must be vigilant against such zealous do-gooders. Such people will not respond to reason. We must be resolved to keep them away from power, or we shall certainly fall victim to their predatory plans. Thank you for listening.